Welcome everyone to Orange County Realtors Global Business Alliance's Spring Forum. I'm Christina Fu, the chair this year for our Global Business Alliance Committee, and I'd like to welcome you to attend. And then also wanted to introduce my vice chair, Mary Rampone, this year, and also our staff liaison, Fung, here, who's wonderful and always here to help us out on every single event and meetings and all the logistics of everything. And also wanted to introduce our task team, Flora Shaksari and Kati Freiduni, who's also been working hard on this event this time around. And also wanted to introduce our two speakers, both our NAR Global Ambassadors, Laurette Murphy, who is the representative for Belgium and Netherlands, and Frank Odie, who is the representative for South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and Uganda. So please let's welcome them here at the event. And Mary, if you'd like to introduce our first speaker, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. As Christina shared, today we have two NAR Global Ambassadors to share their global insights. We are proud to introduce our first speaker, Laurette Murphy, who is our very own OCR Global Business Alliance Committee member, appointed this year as NAR's 2025 to 2029 Global Ambassador to Belgium and the Netherlands. With over 30 years of experience across a financial, mortgage, and real estate industries, Laurette Murphy brings a deep well of knowledge and insight to every aspect of her work. Her career began in the early 1990s, leading branches and districts for various finance companies. She went on to spend 7 years in wholesale lending before opening her own mortgage brokerage. Today, Laurette is a top producing broker specializing in coastal luxury real estate. Since 2013, she has focused on both residential and commercial real estate, now leading a boutique and innovative real estate firm based in Seal Beach, serving clients throughout the greater Los Angeles and Orange County areas. While her husband, Matt Murphy, continues to head the company's mortgage and finance division, Laurette brings a strategic, design-minded approach to helping clients build real estate portfolios and achieve their property goals. Originally from the Netherlands, Laurette studied communications and art at Northwestern University on a field hockey scholarship before moving to Southern California in the early 90s. Her international background, combined with her hands-on experience in mortgage, marketing, negotiation, and project management, gives her clients a unique edge. Laurette, we are so proud of you. So tell us about the Netherlands and Belgium.
Well, thank you, Mary, for that lovely introduction. I will share my screen so I can start my presentation. Here we go. So I would like to give you a little bit of an idea of the housing market in the Netherlands. So I'm not sure how familiar everybody is with where the countries lie. Both Holland and Belgium are in Northwest Europe.
Oh,
so
Laurette,
it's just
I don't think I
yes.
see your screen yet. Do you mind sharing it one more time?
You're not seeing it?
Not right now, no.
Well. How about now?
There you go, yes.
I see. Sorry about that.
Perfect.
Can you see it now? Okay, perfect. All right, very good. The Netherlands and Belgium lie just across the channel from Britain. So it's surrounded by water on two sides of the country. And we have reclaimed a lot of land from the ocean, and by doing that, the Netherlands has been able to create more land to build more houses. Because as in the United States, there is a housing shortage going on, just both for rentals and for sales. Now, that being said, home sales have surged. Just like here, more houses are coming on the market and there are higher sales. There was a 20% increase in transactions from 2023 to 2024. So the market momentum is strong. However, the housing shortage is very concerning. We are hoping for an improved market, but similar to us, it's a battle that's really hard to win. And because Holland is such a small country, literally we have to continue to reclaim land from the ocean to be able to build more properties. It's really interesting. The average home price in Holland increased about 2.5% this past year, which is also very similar to the Southern California market, where we've seen a small increase, but not the big increases that we are used to seeing. The average home price in the Netherlands is 483,000. Now, that may seem like, oh my gosh, it's inexpensive to live in the Netherlands, and that's not the case. When you're in the city, of Amsterdam, for example, a little condo, 1-bedroom condo could be 483,000. And if you want to live on one of the beautiful canals, you're looking at, anywhere from $1.5 to $10 million. So prices, I would say, are very similar to the US. Anything that, literally houses that are comparable in look and quality are the same in the Netherlands as they are here to the California market. I wouldn't say the US market in general, but the California market. Now, the interesting thing is that the interest rates in the Netherlands are quite a bit lower. So while we were enjoying rates of 3.5% a couple of years ago, the Netherlands was at 0.5. So that is something that's very different in Netherlands and other European countries as well, is they don't add such a big margin to what the Fed rate is. So now that we are at like close to 7%, the Netherlands now is at about 3.5%. So the market, because of that, is continuing faster than it is here. We're a little bit stagnant right now, and houses in the Netherlands are still selling. And another reason is that their mortgages don't require a big down payment. Lots is no down payment. So people can buy a house. The other thing is, almost all mortgages in the Netherlands are interest only. So you get a mortgage with almost no money down, and then you get a 5-year interest only loan. And after 5 years, you have to refinance it. And so that's how the banks make sure that people are always paying a somewhat current interest rate, because they don't have a 30-year mortgage, or it's super rare. You get a 5-year mortgage. So it keeps the payments low, people can buy. Now, the problem, of course, is what properties, are people able to buy, because there's not much on the market. Similar to here, homes sell about days on market, about 27 days. That's very similar. There are a lot of young people right now in the market in Holland, in the Netherlands, that are buying. And because of that, the condo sales have really gone up. And the prices in smaller towns are up 13.5%, so a lot higher than the average for the country. And this also has to do with the fact that people can work from home. Just like here, a lot of people have started to work from home. And unlike here, people have not really returned to the office. Now, I wanted to tell you a little bit about how realtors work. It's very different from here. You know, we work weekends, we work evenings, and in Holland, being a realtor is a 9-to-5 job. Open houses don't exist. So if you are looking to buy a house, you have to make an appointment with a realtor. You have to take time off work, and you have to, you know, go travel and see houses during the day, during the week. Now, something new that they just started is about twice a year, the National Association of Realtors will organize one day twice a year that they say, if you want to hold your house open on this weekend day, you can do it. And then, you know, maybe there's like 10 houses in each city that participate. So it's a very, very different type of job. Also, realtors don't earn the same as we earn here. On average, realtors earn about 1% to close a transaction, and mostly the listing agents earn that. Buyers can offer without representation. They can choose to pay a buying agent, but they would have to pay for that agent themselves, and therefore lots of buyers just don't hire an agent at all. Now, something that's very interesting that's going on in the Netherlands is they have what's called a bid log. So they find that it's not transparent that if a listing agent has a property for sale, that you don't know when you're bidding what the other people are bidding. They don't think it's in the best interest of the seller or the buyer. So what they've done is they say, once a property is sold, the bid log has to be opened and the listing agent has to show what everybody bid. And that's to ensure transparency. And now the government is getting involved and they're saying, we don't even think that's transparent enough. We want this bid log to be open from the moment the listing goes active, so that everybody can see what the bids have been and buyers can see what they should bid to try to get that property. So I find this super interesting, and I'm wondering if that's ever going to come here. Okay, so since 2020, this last year was the highest year of new homes built. It was about 32,000. And 28,900 new homes have been sold this past year. Now, there's two big problems with the building of the new houses, even though there is land available now to buy. One is when these homes are being built, the new homes, there's no guarantee you're gonna have electrical for your new house. And because in Europe and especially the Netherlands, there are a lot of requirements that these new homes need to be electric only. They do not allow the use of gas anymore. This is for the environment. There are really large restrictions for using gas. So because all the new homes need to be electric, there's not enough electric available for the new homes. So there are some people that are buying new homes and have to wait to move in until they're off the list to get electricity. So that's really interesting. The second is there's more government restrictions. There is a nitrogen crisis that's delaying construction permits. So in Holland, there's a big problem to restrict the amount of nitrogen that's getting into the air. And these are European restrictions, and then Holland has stronger restrictions over and above. So because of these restrictions, the construction of new homes puts nitrogen into the air, and therefore some of the permits are being held up because no more nitrogen can be put into the air at this point. So those are just a little bit of interesting facts that, you know, we as realtors should know. And also, you know, if we ever have clients that are looking in the Netherlands, that we have to understand what Dutch realtors have to deal with. So in the Netherlands, there are more than one realtor association. There is one, it's called NVM, it's the largest realtor association. And they were really smart. That realtor association created what basically is the MLS and Zillow combined, called Funda. So if you ever look in the Netherlands for a new house, you will look at Funda, .nl or .nl. And that's where you'll find all the homes. And the Realtor Association owns 60% of that. And then they also own Brainwave, which is an AI and data and analytics platform that allows realtors to use those analytics to reach their clients and to advertise and things like that. This is a image of the Netherlands, so you can see how much water is all the way around. And in the very center of the country is I don't know if you can read it, but it says Flevoland, right next to Amsterdam. It's kind of a darker green, and all of that was reclaimed from the ocean. And that's where all the new construction is being done. All right, that's the end of the presentation for the Netherlands. And I'll switch over to Belgium. The Belgium presentation is shorter. Because I'm from the Netherlands, I know a lot. I visited with the Dutch Association of Realtors a lot and really understand how everything works. Belgium is, hold on, sorry. Belgium is just south of the Netherlands. So can you see my screen?
Not yet, trying it.
Okay.
Okay, we can see it now.
You can see it now?
Mhm.
There we go. So if you look here on the little map, you see the white is the country of Belgium, and right above it, the light blue is the Netherlands. So they are attached. And the interesting about it is that because Belgium lies right in between Holland and France, the northern part of Belgium speaks a Dutch dialect. So that's a dialect of the same language the people in the Netherlands speak. And they call it Flemish, the dialect. And in the south, the people speak French. And almost everybody who lives in Belgium speaks both languages. Belgium also has had a steady 2.2 annual growth over the last 40 years. Their average price is a little bit less than in the Netherlands. It's about 330 euros on average. And their residential sector dominates. They have a severe shortage in inventory, just like in the Netherlands, and especially in rentals. And the Netherlands has that also. And part of the problem is that all over Europe, whenever there are refugees, each country is required to take in a certain amount of refugees. So you think that maybe that's a small amount, but over the years, this has happened so many times that it's not really a small amount. And in the past, like 10 years, the refugees have gotten a preference whenever there's a rental property coming up over the native people. And that has caused some problems over the years. And just now, both in Netherlands and in Belgium, that is being corrected where, you know, everybody is equal. And then you also have to think about when you think there's a housing shortage, you think of homelessness. And that's not really the case, because in Europe, people that don't have their own rental, they are put in homes, like there's massive structures where everybody that doesn't have their own place, their own apartment, can live in these places. So homelessness is really not a problem in these countries. Now, they are building new homes in Belgium as well. And there's other problems in Belgium that Holland has. And we talked a little bit in Holland about the problem about building houses with the nitrogen that's being emitted into the air by the construction companies. So that has to do with the environment. But in Belgium, there are such tight guidelines as far as the green way that houses have to be built. Like everything has to be built with solar panels. Again, everything has to have electrical instead of gas. So the cost to build is higher, and therefore the homes are more expensive. So the new build properties that are being built to help with the housing shortage, not everybody is able to afford. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the different markets. So in Belgium, you have the Dutch-speaking part in the north. Then you have this French-speaking part in the south. And to the east of Belgium is Germany. So there's a very small part inside of Belgium where they speak German. And if you look at this chart here, this shows the price increases for the different areas. And this actually separated it out a little bit differently. The middle line, this line, is Flanders. And Flanders is the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium. Wallonia is the French-speaking part of Belgium. So this is the northern part, this is the southern part. And this is just Brussels by itself. So the economy of Brussels has its own metrics, basically, because it's the head of the European Union, and there's just so much business that it's different from anywhere else in Belgium. Both the north and the south are somewhat rural, and then Brussels is this bustling economy. And as you can see, the prices there, you know, shot up more. And this shows you a little bit more about the two different regions within Belgium. So the northern part is Flanders, which is the Dutch speaking. These are 5 provinces. In the south, you have Wallonia up against France, and they speak French. And here are the little blue area. That is the area where they speak German. And this just explains it a little bit further, and it shows you, you know, what average houses in Belgium look like. And of course, not everybody is on a cute little canal, but lots of the Belgium small towns have this look and have small canals. It's very picturesque. This in the southern region, where that lies up against France, it's even more rural, and you have, you know, houses built of stone, you have hills, beautiful hiking, and the area up against Germany also looks like that. Now, Brussels is extremely urban. It's a big city. They speak both French and Dutch. And like I said, most people in all of Belgium learn both languages in school, but the northern part that speaks Dutch, they really don't like speaking French, and the French speaking part in southern Belgium will pretend they don't speak Dutch, but they're required to learn it in school. But there's a little bit of an animosity between these two regions. And then, of course, you know, the EU is in Brussels. And then there is this little tiny part that's German speaking, only 9 municipalities. And there's another interesting thing is because throughout history, there was these different royal families in Holland and in Belgium that ruled, and they would give each other cities here and there. So there are a few cities in Holland, within the borders of Holland, the Netherlands, that are Belgium. They're owned by Belgium. And they speak Belgium and they pay taxes in Belgium. But they're located in Holland. Now a little bit about the realtor part in Belgium. It's extremely hard to become a realtor in Belgium. There's a 4-year degree to become a realtor. And on top of that, you have to work for 200 days in an internship with a broker before you can become a realtor. Now they do earn more money than the realtors in Holland do. And then the code of ethics, oops, I went too fast there. But the code of ethics is all ruled by the government in Belgium, and they're pretty strict. In Belgium there are also several realtor associations. You can imagine that because there's different regions, you know, there are different languages being spoken, so naturally there would be more than one realtor association. The Belgium realtors don't really encourage international real estate. They feel that because their country is complicated in the makeup, they really cater only to their local people, except for, of course, Brussels, because there's so much international people that live there and that transfer in and out for jobs, government jobs, or just huge companies that are in Brussels. So Brussels is different from the other two regions, but Brussels is really the only area that encourages global real estate. Now, in order to drive home sales, both Flanders and Wallonia are reducing tax registration fees in 2025 to make home buying more attractive, which is really interesting. So Flanders is reducing their fee, it's like a transfer fee upon purchase, from 3% to 2%, and Wallonia from 12.5% to 3%. And at the bottom here, I have a little graphic that shows you from the different regions approximately where the prices lie. So one is all of Belgium, so it's, you know, but it's a price per square meter, yeah. So the average of Belgium, you can see Brussels being the big city that it is. It has, you know, the highest price per square meters, and then Flanders and Wallonia, you know, what their price per square meters is. And Wallonia being the most rural area, it has the lowest. Let's see here. And this is, again, having to do with the environment. So energy efficient homes carry higher prices and appreciate faster. The energy efficiency is a key driver and a requirement for many new builds. And here it shows the average price for the different regions. So in the city of Brussels, it's the highest price, it's about 350,000 euros. Antwerp, about 300,000 euros. Bruges, which is a super pretty, very well-known tourist city, it's actually the very highest price of 400,000. But if you go right outside of Bruges, it's again more rural and then it's less. So you're talking more about 250,000. So Belgium is a pretty affordable place to buy, definitely more affordable than the Netherlands is. This talks about what I already discussed, how Belgium is not conducting much global business except for in Brussels. There's no restrictions for foreigners to buy in Belgium or the Netherlands. You do need to qualify for a mortgage in the country, and for that, you do need to have papers. So what a lot of people are doing is they're taking equity out in the country that they live in and buying with cash in Europe, in Belgium and the Netherlands. And taxes are high. For new builds, you pay a VAT tax, 21%. So taxes all around in Belgium are high. All right, thank you guys very much. And if you have questions later after Frank speaks, I'll be glad to answer them.
Okay, so we can ask our question later. I'm sorry. I had a, so we should wait. Okay, for
Yes,
my
later.
question.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lorette. Mary, would you like to introduce our next speaker, please? Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you, Lorette. That was amazing. I loved all of that information. I had the privilege to see Bruges and Amsterdam last year, and I wish I had all that information to really appreciate the two countries. So thank you so much. Our next speaker has such an impressive resume. We'd need a separate session to cover it all, but for now, here's a snapshot of NAR's Global Ambassador to Africa. Frank Odie is a highly accomplished project development consultant and licensed real estate broker with over 28 years of experience in the real estate industry. Known for his strategic thinking and expert project planning, Frank has been instrumental in business development, finance, cost analysis, implementation, and marketing across a range of real estate ventures. He holds the designations of GRI, Graduate Realtor Institute, and CIPS, Certified International Property Specialist, among several other credentials. Throughout his career, Frank has served as a consultant, broker, and advisor to numerous organizations, bringing immense value through his leadership in planning and development. Deeply involved in organized real estate for nearly 3 decades, Frank has held numerous leadership positions, including president of the Inglewood Board of Realtors in 2010 and 2011, and member of CAR's Executive Committee in 2008 and 2015. He's been a CAR State Director since 2005, chaired the Multifamily Housing Committee, and served as Region 21 Chair in 2013. He also spent 3 years on the Strategic Planning and Finance Committee. Frank has been active in NAR's global real estate since 2007. He served on NAR's Leading Edge Advisory Board in 2022 and 2023, and he is currently the 2024 to 2027 NAR Global Ambassador to Africa, as well as chair of CAR's Housing Affordability Fund Committee. Frank has also led the redevelopment of a former bowling alley into an integrated mixed-use and mid-sized condominium project, showcasing his ability to bring complex developments to life. He holds degrees in engineering and management technology with a focus on project management and currently serves as president and CEO of Spec Homes Realtors, Inc., a full-service real estate consulting firm based in Los Angeles. Frank lives in Los Angeles with his family and continues to serve on the boards and advisory councils of multiple organizations. Welcome, Frank. We are so glad you're here to share your insights.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. That's an awesome introduction. I don't even know that's me. But anyway, thank you so much. Yeah, without wasting time, if I can ask Ms. Deep to share the screen for us?
Of course. Would you like the video or the PowerPoint first?
As a global ambassador, I serve as a resource to all our bilateral partners. If you ever want to do business with our bilateral partners anywhere in the world, I think the best place to go would be to reach out to your global ambassador and then ask them to connect you. I think it is important because some of these people have been vetted and will feel confident that when you get to these countries, you will be safe and of course you will do business and make some money there. So NAR has a bilateral partnership with over 108 organizations in about 77 countries. And in Africa, there are about 5 bilateral partners, 2 in South Africa, 1 in Nigeria, 1 in Ghana, and the other in Uganda. As you may be aware, Ghana and Nigeria is on the West Africa, and Uganda is in the East Africa, and of course, South Africa is South. So next slide, please. Oh, well, this is me. Next slide. So Nigeria, I played that video for you because there is so much happening in Nigeria. Nigeria is probably one of the few countries in the world where they have now built 2 brand new cities. Lagos used to be the federal capital of Nigeria, but in the late 80s, early 90s, the government decided that it was too close to the ocean that they needed to move it away inland. So they built a city called Abuja, Abuja. Abuja is a brand new city that was built in the late 80s, early 90s. In fact, when I migrated to the United States, it wasn't even completed. It was completed after I got here. And now they are building another city called Eco Atlantic City, the one you just saw the video. So next slide, please. So an overview of Nigeria. If you don't know, Nigeria has a population of over 233 million people. And 70% of this population are below 30 years of age. That gives you an idea that it's a very vibrant country of young people. 70% of 33 million people are less than 30 years. That's a lot happening there. You can also ask ChatGPT to tell you what is called Dirty December. Dirty December has become a new word in the social media. Just the word dirty and December. That is where a lot of young people from all over the world descend into Lagos, Nigeria, Johannesburg, and Ghana to party, have investment made there, and all that. So it's a very, very vibrant country. The GDP is projected to grow at about 3.2% in 2025. The GDP per capita was at $2,460 in 2023. Now, just don't read the numbers the way you see them because there's a lot of money in that country. And then real estate is the 4th largest sector of the Nigerian economy. Nigeria is probably the richest country in Africa. Huge population, huge wealth, and so much to show. And good thing about it, all these countries speak English. So communication is easy. Nigeria is also influenced by the British influence because It was colonized by the Britons. It got its independence in 1960. Also, Ghana has the same British influence. The thing that is interesting about housing units in Nigeria is there is over 28 million housing deficit, 28 million housing deficits in Nigeria. What does that mean? It means that there is a lot of opportunities to develop and to invest in real estate in Nigeria. And they have projected that the Central Bank of Nigeria has projected that they will need over $50 billion to bridge this gap. So they need a lot of investment, a lot of development to meet this need. And they're projecting that you will need a minimum of 700,000 units every year per annum to be able to catch up. Next slide, please. Housing deficit creates clear-cut demand for real estate. The demand for luxury homes in the single-family market is huge. Growing urbanization creates huge housing need, especially in the urban areas. Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Enugu, there's so many of them. They need a lot of housing. The three biggest areas of investment are residential properties, commercial, industrial, and of course, another area that nobody's even talking about is what they call facilities management. Now, as they develop all these, which is property management, what we call property management here, they call it facilities management over there. As they build all these condominiums and complex housing units, they will need professionals who will manage this and also manage homeowners association. So there's a lot of opportunities in this area. Next slide. Financing channels. There are very few financing opportunities in Nigeria, so there's need for that. The mortgage is nothing to write home about. So they have a few interesting concepts that they're using, what they call fintech, prop tech, joint ventures, SPV, special project vehicles, crowdfunding. Those are the things that are happening today to finance projects in Nigeria. Plus, foreign direct deposits are coming into Nigeria because of all the opportunities and, of course, the return on investments. Their taxes are, 10% capital gains, but most of the time, these things really don't apply. They have some tax incentives. If you paid your tax early, they give you some discounts. Exemptions from company income taxes, investments. So if you wanted to do transactions in Nigeria, it's always a good thing to do it in the name of a company, which means you have to register a corporation and use it to either acquire or use it to develop real estate over there. Next slide, please. So NAR facilitates contact information for realtors in the United States if they wanted to do businesses in some of these countries. For purposes of explanation, NAR has bilateral partnership with an association called AEAN, Association of Estate Agents in Nigeria. If you understand the story of Britain and the way it did real estate, they have a lot of respect for what they call estate surveyors and valuers. So it's one of the oldest organizations in Nigeria that control real estate in Nigeria, but theirs is focused towards valuations and surveys. So about 11 years ago, they had a subsidiary they called Association of Estate Agents in Nigeria, who are practically all real estate agents. But some of the estate surveyors and valuers are also members of this organization. So NAR has bilateral partnership with that. And maybe Christina and uh, Ms. Deep, you guys can put the chart, the website for our members to be able to check out these countries. Can you see it on that? It says globalalliance.apps. Yes, and all that. So that's the information you need if you wanted to check out the country and see who the contacts are, the people that NAR has bilateral partnership with, and who you can reach out to. That is, if you don't want to talk to any of the global ambassadors, you can go straight to these people and talk to them. Next slide, please. South Africa. South Africa is one of the oldest bilateral partners in Africa. Next slide, please. It has a population of about 64 million people. And as of 2020, 63% of South African population were youth population between the ages of 15 and 34. So it also has a good youth population. The International Monetary Fund projects the growth of South Africa GDP in 2025 to be about 1.5%. The real estate sector size are kind of scanty. The real estate stood at about 287 billion rands in 2020, making it 6.6% of the 2022 South African GDP. Between 2028 and 2023, the South Africa real estate sector and residential grew up at the rate of 3.3%. And then it's projected that real estate sector will grow between 3.6% and 10.46% between 2024 and 2029. Next slide, please. By the way, how are we doing on time? So I will know how to move. Are we okay on time?
Yes, we were still good on time.
Oh, fantastic. So South Africa has great opportunity. They have an unmet housing needs of about 2 million units. That's not as bad as what you have in Nigeria. Investment areas will include investment opportunities lying in the residential real estate sector. And I also want you guys to know that apart from United States and also some part of Europe, South Africa also has a lot of wineries. And there's a lot of opportunities there if you like wine as a place to go. You check it out and also check out real estate. It's a combination. Commercial real estate sector for business use is also a need. They're also trying to do a lot of fintech and prop tech there. Next slide, please. Loan financing via home loans, bridging loans for short-term real estate projects, equity funding, and mezzanine funding for large projects. Capital gains is at about 18% for individuals and 21% for firms. That's much less than, that's much higher than that of Nigeria at 10%. Tax incentives, not all capital gains are taxed, which is a good thing. You just have to figure out what it is. Next slide, please. So NAR has bilateral partnership with two organizations. Ribosa, which is real estate business owners of South Africa. These are strictly business owners. They have their own association, not like we have here, where everybody is a member of NAR. In South Africa, they have real estate business owners association of South Africa and Institute of Estate Agents of South Africa, what we call IESA. So those are our bilateral partners, and their information is also part of this presentation. So you will get either that in PowerPoint or you will get it through recording. Yeah, so next slide, please. Ghana. Next slide, please. Ghana is one of the smaller countries at about 34.6 million people. The youth population there, less than 25 years of age, is about 57% of that. That's more than half of the population. So there's something that is common among all these bilateral partners in Africa. Majority of the population are youth population. What that tells us is that they will need a lot of housing. They will need a lot of investment in those countries. Ghana GDP will grow at 4.4% in 2025. They projected that annual average, I don't understand this, but they say annual average growth rate of 31% between 2014 and 2022. That was huge. That's 1/3 every year for the past 8 years, as the case may be. Ghana has an estimated 1.8 million housing deficit, not as much as Nigeria or South Africa. Next slide, please. So I was able to go to Ghana last year, and I'm going to be there again this year in June. Last April was my first time of going to Ghana. One of the things I saw in Ghana was the level of development and tourism that is happening in Ghana. A lot of people are going into Ghana for so many reasons. Some of it is quality of life. Some of it, the easiness of securing real estate and all that stuff. So there's a lot of Americans that go to Ghana these days, and some of them have even become Ghanaian citizens. So some Americans have acquired dual citizenship from Ghana, and they're investing a lot in real estate in those areas. Market potential for private home ownership, growth potential for firms that can either properly segment the market or have an inclusive pricing strategy. Office facilities market, retail facilities, also a lot of hotels are happening in Ghana too. So there's great opportunity for real estate development in all these countries, whether you want to acquire your own real estate or you want to invest in real estate development. Those are great opportunities for our members. Next slide. Financing is always a problem. Most of the people, what they do is bring foreign money, foreign direct deposits, because the money in these countries are not enough to do these developments. It requires a lot. Like in the case of Nigeria, they need about $50 billion. Where are they going to get that? That's a whole lot of money. So there will be need for foreign investments to be able to help development in these countries. But the return on investment is out of this world. I mean, high risk, high return. That's how it goes. Yeah. The property taxes in Ghana, 0.5 to 2%. That's not bad. But they also have grounds rent, which is, Nigeria has the same thing too. Stamp duty is at, or what you could call property transfer taxes here, is between 0.25% to 1%. Capital gains is about 15%. They have what they call tax holidays. You know, mortgage interest tax relief incentive, tax incentive, value added taxes, corporate tax income benefits, free transfer of dividends and capital and profits. So if you make money, you're able to transfer your proceeds and all that. Some of these countries, when you bring your money into the country, is recorded. So it's easy for you to take it out when you are ready to take it out. But you must make sure that you pass through either banks or through government organizations to ensure that your funds are registered on your behalf so that when you want to take it out, you are able to take it out. Next slide, please. So NAR has a bilateral partnership with Ghana Real Estate Professionals Association, GREPA. They have a conference coming in June, I believe it's June 18th through the 20th in Accra, Ghana. I will be there to represent NAR. It's really a big conference. They're always talking about prop tech and fintech and some interesting ideas about PPP, private-public partnerships, and joint ventures, and special project vehicles, all kinds of initiatives to help real estate development. Next slide. Okay, this brings us to the last bilateral partner, Uganda. I was there in December. They had their first international conference in Kampala, Uganda. That was a very tough trip for me because you fly into Amsterdam, then from Amsterdam to Kampala. And from here to Amsterdam was like 10 hours flight. And from Amsterdam to Kampala was another 10 hours. Was almost 21 hours in the air. So huge, long trip, but it was worth it. Next slide. So this is a very interesting country. I learned a lot when I was there. The population is about 48 million people. Look at the youth population constitutes 78%. 78% of the population is made up of youths. That's huge. That's huge. The Ugandan GDP will grow at an average of 7.5% in 2025. The growth rate in 2023 stood at about 5.23. So every year, the average rate grows, you know, and that's a testament to the fact that it's a very progressive country. One of the things I can tell you is that I met the Minister for Housing and Urban Planning there, and it's like they want to build new cities around the Lake Victoria. One thing I want you guys to know about Lake Victoria spans through East Africa, through 3 countries, Tanzania, Uganda, and I believe Kenya. And it is the second largest lake in the world. So Uganda, you know, the whole of Uganda is kind of developed around the lake. And they're looking to develop more cities around the lake. And they're asking for joint ventures for people because they also have housing needs of about 2.4 million. They need 900,000 of those need repairs or replacement. So if you really add that to the 2.5, you're looking at about 3.4 3.3 million housing units they need. They said they will require about 300,000 units a year to meet up their housing deficit. Next slide. Opportunities, present and projected needs for housing create a total addressable market. Rental yields range between 3 to 4% for residential properties, and for commercial properties is 5 to 12%. Even though the need for residential home is there, but it seems like the commercial properties are more profitable. Annual capital appreciation is about 31.6%. That's huge. They need high-end homes. There are not too many high-end homes in that area. So they need also investment in retail spaces and malls. So if you know of any developer that wants to really invest, Uganda will be a great opportunity. Next slide. So you see all these countries, they have financing issues, problems, but they also have good tax benefits. One of the things I really know about these countries is that it is great opportunity for our members. If anybody is interested in investing in real estate there, is worth it. And they're looking for investors, joint ventures, developers, even to acquire and bank lands is also a great opportunity there. So, but you have to do some due diligence to ensure that you're not dealing with the wrong people or criminals, because in every country there's a criminal waiting to take somebody's money. Next slide. So our bilateral partners in Uganda is Association of Real Estate Agents in Uganda. I have to say something about Area Uganda. They're as important as NAR is in the United States. The government has really a lot of confidence in Area Uganda. When I was there, we were able to meet all the important people in the country, except the president. But we also met the most powerful advisor to the president. So that, and everybody was talking about coming to Uganda to do business. They are open for it. They're open to foreign direct investments and developers, joint ventures, and so on and so forth. So there are some great opportunities in Africa. Like I always say, Africa is the new frontier for real estate development because there's so much need and they don't have the funds. So I hope I'm preaching to the right people that you should take advantage of this information. If you need to meet anybody that is important in any of these countries, I can facilitate that. We have the contacts. And then, let me know what you want to do. I have my contacts here. And then next time we'll be doing more videos for the different countries. But let me close by saying that because of lack of time, I don't have a lot of time to share my experience in Nigeria. I've been going to Nigeria for over 25 years, 2 to 5 times every year. And there is so much going on there, a lot. Homes are not cheap. I've seen townhomes that sold for $5 million in Ikoyi, Lagos, and Eko Atlantic. They have properties selling there for $3, $4, $5 million. And these are all condos. They're not even single family residences, but They're awesome with great views and all kinds of things. So if you want to experience Dirty December and use it to do an investment in Nigeria, let me know. And then we can get you connected to the right people. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be in your presence and to share some of this information with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frank, for your wonderful presentation. It's so much information. Would you and also for Laurette, please put your contact info inside the chat. So if any of our audience would like to continuously contact you, they're able to get your contact information and can contact you directly. At this time, we have a few more minutes for questions. If you can either raise your hand or you can put your questions in a box. I see Joyce, your hands are raised, so I'll start with you first.
Thank you. And oh, this is so interesting. So thank you both for sharing about these countries. My question to both of you is, can you please share to us what the weather is like and what's a good time to visit the countries? Thank you.
I'll go first because my region is a lot smaller than Frank's. The weather in the Netherlands and Belgium is, I'd say, very average. There's a lot of overcast, a lot of drizzling rain. It's a little bit like England in that way. Summertime is nice. I say the absolute best time to visit Netherlands is springtime because it's when all the flowers come out, and Belgium is the same. It's, you know, after a very wet winter, it's absolutely beautiful in the spring and it'll be less crowded, not as much tourism. So I suggest definitely the springtime is the best.
So just to follow up what Laurette said, Africa really, when you talk about different regions, other than South Africa, the other countries, you can go anytime. You know, you've high humidity, you know, Nigeria is like Houston, Texas, without the cold weather. It's very hot, but with air conditioners, you're good. Ghana, the same thing because they're West Coast, you know. A flight from Nigeria to Ghana is about an hour flight or less, you know. So South Africa, you know, probably has the three different weathers: winter, summer, and spring. Uganda probably just same as Nigeria, is not too much different, you know, but yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Flora's hand is raised.
Yeah, I just have a question from Laura. First of all, thanks for the very nice presentation from both the speakers. This is a question I had because especially I noticed that in both countries and especially in Netherlands and say in Nigeria, I think this question is going to be from Laurette because they had a lot of concern about environmental issue, but they say they are reclaiming the land from the sea. And I know that has environmental effects. And I know they are doing it in Dubai too, and they are doing it, like he said, in Nigeria. I didn't know they are doing it in Nigeria, but I know that has a lot of environmental effect on the, on the.
Well, okay, so the response to that is Holland has been reclaiming land from the sea for hundreds of years. They're, I think, probably the most well-known for doing that. And from my understanding, there's maybe not none, but very little environmental effects the way that this is being done in Holland. I don't know about other countries. It was very interesting to hear from Frank that they're doing this in Nigeria, and I'm sure that there's Dutch engineers involved with those projects.
That's correct.
Because Holland they're just incredible at it. So as far as I know, the reclaiming of the land it's been so successful in the Netherlands. You know, we've done it forever. And the other environmental issues, most of them have been imposed upon the Netherlands by the EU. So these are all environmental guidelines that the EU says we have to be under, you know, these type of guidelines. And for each country, that means you have to be at these numbers. And Holland is really serious about making that happen. You know, some countries be like, whatever, we're going to do whatever we want. But Holland, they're really strict on their corporations and their citizens to comply by the numbers that are being imposed by the EU.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me also add that the environmental issues, you know, is not a concern because you also have to understand that even though these countries seem to be independent, but they belong to a lot of international organizations. For instance, Organization of African Unity, the Commonwealth of Nations, and of course, World Bank also is involved in some of these projects, so that you know that sustainability is an issue and is going to be, and believe it or not, a lot of new buildings in Nigeria today are LEED conforming, you know, so there's a lot of environmental concerns, but it's being tackled and people are really getting well informed about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank-
Christine, if there is no more question, can I ask the lottery or gift card
Yes,
questions?
that's what, oh, you have one more last question, Elizabeth?
Yes, I was wondering, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation from both, such interesting topics. I have a quick question for Laurette. So they have a problem with electricity and power and not enough of it. Are they considering nuclear power there?
Not at this point. That's part of the issue. They're refusing to consider that at this point. But, you know, I spend a lot of time there and I keep discussing this with people because wind power, obviously, we have all these windmills. You think there'd be more.
Yeah.
Water, we're surrounded by water. There's these, you know, there's not a lot of sun. But I mean, there's other sources of energy. And for whatever reason, they just do not have, they don't have it together. And a lot of people are saying nuclear would be the answer, and they don't want to do it. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, seeing that we're a little bit over the time right now, so we want to be cognizant for everyone's time. We wanted to do a little raffle. The raffle will be 2 questions, and also will only be for non-committee members for GBA. So, Flor, would you like to ask the questions? Thank you.
Sure. The first question is going to be from Laurette. Thank you for presentation. I have, you know, with the nice background that you have, I have a question for everybody in here. Do you know what type of a scholarship Laurette got from attending in a university, a Northwestern University? Anyone knows that? They can just put the comment.
Please put your answers in the chat box. This is probably from earlier, from Mary's introduction of Laurette's bio.
Yes, yes. Anyone knows the answer, so we can. You can get $10 gift card.
Anyone?
No one was listening.
I think Mary need to repeat again. People.
Because there was a lot of information, so we think we forget. It was a lot.
I know, that was a nice introduction, Mary.
Nice introduction. Maybe we'll take our second option,
Yeah,
which is
for Frank.
for Frank, and let's go from there.
This the second question is for Frank. Thanks again for the presentation. with the background that Frank has, what did Frank done in the converting the bowling alley into what? That's the question. You know, what did he convert the bowling alley into? Is the question clear enough? Maybe I have to answer the questions myself.
While we're waiting for someone to answer, I wanted to say to the people who organized this that you guys did a really nice job picking two regions that are so completely different. Like the Northern Europe area that is so kind of old and stagnant, and you know, there's not much change, to Africa that is so emerging, and there's all these young people and so much opportunity. It's really cool to see the differences.
That's a wonderful, wonderful program. I think also some people have already answered the questions. I think Beatrice and Elizabeth answered the questions already for Lauren.
Yes. Beatrice and Elizabeth are both our committee members, so they're
Oh, okay,
eligible for the
okay.
raffle.
So it doesn't count.
So I guess, Feng, maybe perhaps we should do the wheel spin then.
Just do a raffle, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's me.
Patsy, would you like to announce the two winners?
Sure. Thank you all for joining this special event. A big thank you to our fantastic guest speaker, Laurette Murphy and Frank Oti, and Christina Fu, our chair, Mary Rampon, our vice chair, Flor Shakhsari and Fang Deep for their amazing support. Now, congratulations, sorry, to our two winner, Yasmin Reis, and if I'm right, and Michael Douglas. You each won $10 Amazon e-gift card. Again, congratulations. And with that, I hand it over to our chair, Christina Fu, to close out our today's Spring Forum. Christina.
Thank you very much for everyone attending. If I guess Laurette don't mind for one more question, it's from Elizabeth Turner that I see on the chat. A question regarding the lending in Netherlands. If they have to get a new loan every 5 years, what is the percentage that can't qualify 5 years later?
Yeah, I was just reading that. I was going to answer it in the chat, but from my understanding, their qualifications are more lenient than here, and that they don't have a lot of problems with that. I understand what you're saying. Like, we have 30-year mortgages, and to hope that people pay off the mortgage in 30 years. And what if what happens if you have to refinance every 5 years and all of a sudden you don't qualify? From the whole time that I've been following this, I've never heard of issues with that. So I don't know. I don't know what happens if they don't qualify. Maybe they get a cosigner and they make it work. I think that the banks are flexible and working with people.
Thank you. So Frank and Laurette has already put their contact information in the chat, so you're welcome to save the information, and also their presentations will be sent out afterwards to share. If you have any direct questions, please contact them directly. And thank you all for joining us this lunchtime, and hope you've enjoyed. And if you want to rewatch this video is recorded and will be put on our YouTube channel, I believe. So thank you all for joining, and have a wonderful good afternoon. And thank you to our speakers very much. And we would love to have you back, and hopefully we'll see you in person sometime. I think, Frank, we may see you during Global Week, right?
Yes, I'm hoping. Yeah.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you. And then
All right,
Loretta,
thank
of
you.
course, she's our local.
Yes.
Thank
All
you,
right, thank
guys.
you. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
God bless and
Bye-bye.
happy
Bye.
Eid to
Thank
all.
you.